I'm cooking late because I had so much to do today. Like I actually cleaned up my whole house. I'm over here making fried cabbage over here. And I got some yams in the oven. And I'm making fried chicken thighs in the air fryer. So let me go ahead and cabbage is almost pretty much done. I just want it to be a little bit more. Woo-hoo-hoo. Yummy! Look at those babies. Oh, don't they look good? Mm-mm-mm-mm-mm. Woo-hoo-hoo. Let that cook in here a little bit. Let's look inside the oven and get this out. Before I get to talking about my day and how things going, it's my yams. Let me see how they're looking like under here. Yeah, pretty much day. It's been very busy Saturday. I did take a few breaks here and there in between, but I did a lot. This morning started cleaning my house, cleaning the fridge out, cleaning inside the behind also cleaning the walls. I mean, I got water, bleach, and then I ran out of bleach. I used like the floors, everything. That was this morning. Then I did the laundry. Then I came back upstairs, did the bathrooms, the everything. I did all that for me. This is what, 2? This is 8, 7, 6. So that's 5 ounces right there, I would think. A little bit, preset it. At first I was going to straighten it, but I was just too tired. And I had to go shopping, and I'm still not done because I got inspection coming up. So tomorrow I got to do the other half of the things I have to do. So every weekend is a project I have to do in the house. And then I ended up making dinner later than what I was supposed to. And made hubby something completely different because he doesn't like chicken thighs. He cannot stand chicken thighs. He likes chicken without a bone. And he won't eat cabbage, and he sure as hell won't eat sweet yams, but it's something I would like to get him to do. And toast everybody out there tonight. Just cook this. I think this cabbage is almost done. I love it. Nice and fried. So yeah, that's been pretty much my day. Tomorrow's gonna be another busy day, and things have just been very busy. Right now, I'm a little past my bedtime, but that's okay. As long as I don't go past 11 o'clock, because at least on the weekends, weekdays I gotta be in bed early, but weekends at least like 11 o'clock the latest. Is my goal, because like I see myself probably 11:30 tonight, which is kind of pushing it. Like, I have a bad history, very bad history of time management issues. And see, the last job that I was at before, so, maybe I'll come an hour later, and they didn't mind because we didn't have patience and I could do that. And sometimes it came in early if I had a lot of work to do. But I can't do that anymore. I'm not allowed to do that. And where I work is at least, I'm going to say 5 to 10 minutes longer than where I was before. Plus, you got to park your car. Then after that, you got to go up through security. Then after security, you got to go on the elevator. That takes about 10 minutes, sometimes 15 minutes. So, and you have to be there 8 o'clock on the dot, sometimes earlier. So it's like now I got to be up at 4:30, 5 o'clock the latest in the morning time. I can't not delay. And knowing me, when I don't get my sleep, everything is chaotic. My whole schedule's off, everything. So right now, I'm just disciplining myself. So, I know myself very well. If I don't get my sleep and things go off 1 minute or 1 inch of it, my whole schedule's all messed up. And then that's where I'm going to have issues. I mean, the other day I stayed up a little bit past my bedtime just to tap it. And my sleep schedule was all off. And I was struggling to get out of bed and everything. And I was like, oh, we can't do this no more. It's like, because I almost barely ran late to work. And that wasn't good. So I'm like, no, I got to stay on top of my schedule. And right now, me working here is keeping me on a schedule and prioritizing my time better. And I'm like, if I stay up on the weekends, it's only going to be up to like 11:30, 11 o'clock or something. And weekdays is normally, like I said, 9:30, 10 o'clock. It's my bedtime. Yesterday, I don't know, but I fell out at 6 o'clock. 6 o'clock, I fell out. And I didn't wake up till 4 this morning to clean. And that just comes to show you like how much how much your schedule can change just based on just how you wake up 3 hours earlier. So yeah, I mean, that's like 10-hour nap, 10-hour sleep, because you're catching up with the 2 hours you lost plus the regular 8 hours. 8 to 4 is 8 hours. So I slept long. I mean, that's as long as I've slept in a long time, and I'm like, ooh, my body was tired. And see, that's why I'm like, I don't want my sleep schedule off, because that's what ends up happening. And I'm like, I don't want that. And this time I didn't wake up at midnight. I slept straight through. Like I didn't toss and turn, walk back, forth, nothing like that. So, I'm like, I got to stay on top of everything. I stay disciplined with this time, because knowing me, you know what they say about Black people? We're never on time. Set, scheduled. I can't do what I used to do, So it's like everything is so like prioritized and set. I'm going to turn this off now. This looks done, this cabbage. I love cabbage. My yams, let me take a peek at this, because I want to see if I can poke a fork through it. Let's see. But tired more and I've fallen out early more, and when my sleep schedule goes off, it's like everything's chaotic. I'll sit there and I'll wait to the latest moment. Even my own wedding, I was late to my own wedding. Even at my own wedding, I was late, 30 minutes late. And you know what happened? I went to bed late too, and I did not want to get up for my wedding. I was 30 minutes late to my own wedding that I paid for. But that comes to show you, like, I cannot, seriously, I got to be disciplined with my time. Some people are good at that. I'm not. I am not good at that. Time management issues, seriously. I'm the worst of them all. All right, look at my yams. They're poking through, but I want them to be perfected, though. My yams, and that's my chicken. I got to check it. But yeah, so I wanted to go into a few things that was on my mind that I came across while I'm waiting for food to get ready. 2 things I thought of to talk about tonight, and how do you know when things are of God and when it's not? We're going to be doing that very soon. I haven't gotten around to my Pride and Confidence stream yet. I mean, I was set up yesterday. I just was too tired. I fell out at 6. I couldn't stay up, and I stayed asleep. So I feel like refreshed right now because of that. But if I don't go to bed, if I go to bed too late, I won't be feeling so good the next day. But I'm going to put this on for I like it extra crispy. I want to put it on for 5 more minutes. But I came across a video, right? And in the video, it was talking about people in hotels cleaning their underwears. Now, I don't know how true this is, but if this is true, boy, is this disgusting. They say supposedly there's some kind of trend going on where people are trying to save their money on laundry. And this is how you be careful, beware using coffee makers at hotels or something like that. And something caught my eye on it. I said, okay, I'm just scouting through the internet. Press the video. Like, what is it I gotta be careful of? I thought it had something to do with people coming into your room, set you up for human trafficking, because that's been going on where right now you go to hotels, there are certain hotels where people have access to your room. And they don't know if it's being done intentionally or not. That one lady said a man walked in her room and he was able to have access. And when she asked the front desk guy, he couldn't explain how that man got a key to her room. Act like he don't know what's going on. So they believe that some people are in on human trafficking in hotels. Ladies, be careful out there, And this is happening a lot. I'm seeing a lot of reports about it. It's not like one video or whatever. I'm hearing a lot about that, where people go to hotels, a woman by herself, and some man or somebody ends up having the same key room. Now, there's two things that could be happening. Maybe they are just short staffed and not paying attention and messing up, giving people the wrong keys, or it's being intentionally done. And I believe that more than half of the times it's being intentionally done. But that's not even what was on the video. I'm thinking it was another case like that. On the video, when it said about the coffee pots, I'm thinking like maybe it's something in the coffee pots, and they got cameras in there or something. Maybe they drug up you and then have somebody come in there and get you. You got these things running in your head. And the woman wasn't dressed up in scrubs. Obviously, she worked in the medical field, and she's putting her underwear, dirty underwear, inside of the coffee pot where you steam out the coffee grounds, and says, this is another really good way. This is a trend. And she's putting the dirty ass, crusty behind underwear up inside of the coffee pot and running water in it as it's going through into the actual pot itself. I said, that is disgusting. And it was in a hotel. And supposedly now it's a trend. And I'm like, is this true? And I'm rubbing my eyes like, are you serious? So how many of us been drinking coochie juice? Just think about that. Think about what's in those underwears, those panties. I mean, what is wrong with people? They must have a fetish or something. There is no way that you're telling me that you think this is normal to go to a random hotel. I don't care how much they clean that coffee pot out. You're talking about doo-doo stains, vaginal discharge, a semen. If she had sex with a man and he had put a condom on, he came in her, and she got semen seeping out of her vagina. That's all going into that coffee pot. I don't care how boiling hot the damn thing is. That's nasty. That is disgusting. And when I saw that, I said, oh my gosh, how many people are drinking from that coffee pot after her? And she had no shame. I'm like, this should be like a federal offense. Like, this should be like illegal to do. But she says supposedly it's becoming a trend and people are doing it at hotels. So, if you want to a hotel soon, you better not drink that coffee pot. I'm going to tell my sister, and if you don't want to drink any coochie juice, underwear's in there. And it doesn't make sense. I'm going to tell you why it don't make sense. I mean, obviously, it's a coffee pot. It's nasty. But they act like there's no other way to clean their underwear. That's why I say I think that they're nasty. I think that they have like a fetish or something, because there's no way you could not have just filled up the sink, got yourself some disinfectant wipes, all right, and put your underwear in it, all right, and put like some hot boiling water over it if you wanted to do that, because at least you're not contaminating the coffee pot or the coffee filter itself. It just doesn't make sense. I mean, that's common sense. I used to wash my underwear and my clothes by hand. I've mentioned that before. Back then, when I didn't have money, I would take it and wash it by hand in the sink, all my stuff. Heck, it was cleaner than what the wash machine will do. And guess what? If I need to throw some hot water in it, I just threw some hot water. The water calms down and is nice and lukewarm. But it was like people are so lazy that they would rather just go and throw their underwear inside of the coffee pot and flip it upside down where the crust is hanging out, and then go ahead hot water going through the thing. That's nasty. I'm like, what the hell is going on? I mean, okay, like, you know what? It would have not hurt if you just had boiled some water and throw the underwear inside of the sink if you're that lazy and just steamed it over in there. But no, they didn't want to do that. And she was a nurse. She has scrubs. That's what's, I'm like, wow, out of all people, I wouldn't want her, my nurse or nurse aide or whatever she is, because that type of person is somebody who won't care. You'll be in their care. You'll be like, I'm hungry. I wanted to get something. And let's say they're serving you food. You could have been sitting out for a long time. They say, here you go. You need anything else, ma'am? No, nothing else. Okay, well, we'll be back in the room in 2 hours. Well, I was sitting out for 4 hours. Oh, well. It's that I would be worried having someone like that take care of me. And that's the scary part about it. She had like, and she was giving this trend to other people. I'm like, this cannot be real. And then I'm hearing that it's a trend. Like I don't know, but I figured that was mind blowing to me. That just been stuck in my head. I'm like, whoa, like no, no, no. Candy is not making coffee at any hotel anymore after what I saw. There's some nasty people out there. And how would the people know? You know, because I've seen some dirty coffee pots before where the grounds, when I'd gone to the last hotel, we didn't use it because it looked dirty, you know? And just think about it. They probably just run water through there and that's it. They probably don't clean the inside of that thing out, disinfect it or anything. So you don't know what's in there, you know, and you're drinking somebody's coochie juice. No, I don't think so. That's okay. I'll skip that. You know, I don't need that. No, juice coochie cocktail, you know, that's what you're gonna be having, you know, if you drink out of these coffee pots. And I mean, I know what I say sound crazy, but no, it's not crazy. That's what she said, and people are supposedly saying it's becoming a trend. It's nasty. So, you know, and think about it, like if they can do that, you know, what other things they're putting in there? You know what I mean? Like you don't know. You know, some crazy people out there. You know, if they got like, you know, some kind of, you know, disease or something, you putting that in your mouth, like, you know, and, you know, I'll just bring my own coffee from downstairs or something, you know, or bring my own coffee pot. You know, I got a coffee pot, I'm sure up there. I'll bring my own coffee pot, you know. That's gross. Oh my gosh. That was something that was on my mind that I just kept thinking about. I was like, oh my gosh, I can't believe that people are that gross, you know? Man, you know? Ugh. Oh my gosh. But speaking of hotels, you know, another thing that you know has been trending a lot lately is you know, rent. You know, rent at their at an apartment. They don't have to pay electric. Just think about it. They don't have to pay water bill. You don't have to pay cable. You know what I mean? You save a lot of money. We don't have to pay electric, cable, water bill, gas, whatever it is. You know, so they're saving themselves all this money by staying at the hotels, extended stay hotels. They're showing their rooms and like, wow, I saw a woman, she was pregnant. She had 4 kids and she was on the like a live stream or something. And she lived in a hotel in the rooms. It was like 2 or 3 rooms in there. And if you think about it, if you have a 2-bedroom hotel and a living room, there's a pull-out bed in there. So you can fit 6 people in there. You know what I mean? If not more, because if both the hotel beds got 2 bedrooms, you know, 2 beds in each room, you could fit 2, 4, 6, 8, maybe 10 people in a hotel room because everybody's struggling. You know, they're like rent prices are going up and it's becoming expensive. It's becoming expensive for a lot of people. And they're, you know, I'm hearing now that you know, you're talking about over $2,000 for rent now for people. Some people are paying like $3,000 for rent. I'm very thankful that where I live at in my apartment, not that bad. It's going up, but not like that. You know, and that's the reason why I won't leave here because it's like, number one, house prices are ridiculous. My sister makes double the amount I make and she still can't get a house. And it's because they look at everything. Now people bid for homes. So, you know, that's one. You look at my chicken. Ooh, look at that chicken. People are bidding for homes now. She went to this nice house. I looked at it for her and I said, oh, this is nice. It was like that old school looking house where it had the front porch and it was like nice and built, strong looking, like those old nice houses. That me and my sister, we love old school stuff. So, you know, we went in there. So, oh my gosh, this is the home. But there was another girl upstairs on the phone with her mom. Mom, I need help with the down payment. There, you know, because everyone's bidding, you know, on our homes now. And my sister's like, shit, we don't have the money for a down payment. Like we have money, but we don't have like that kind of down payment right here. So I was like, I wonder if they're going to sell it to her, you know? And it would have been nice if she got that. It has such a nice, when I say a big front classic looking porch, it was nice. But I'm sure we'll come across another one. But it's just that Even when she said, like, even if you're looking for a house, they look at your income and everything, and it's got to be double the amount. It's just ridiculous. And I'm hearing a lot about this too, even with rent. They're like, they want you, they're charging you $3,000 of rent, but they want you to make double the amount that you of how much you earn. So like it has to be at least double the amount that you earn on each check. So think about that, $3,000 rent. You make, well, maybe about $3,000 a month or maybe $4,000 a month. And you got to pay $3,000 or even $6,000, right? You make $6,000 a month. And your rent is $3,000. That means that you got to make double the amount of that rent in order to get that apartment. That's $6,000. That's like your whole check for the freaking month in order to put a down payment down. How's that realistic? That's not realistic. And don't tell me they can't afford to move in there for $3,000 because they got $3,000 left. So that's the big problem now that's happening with a lot of people. It's like, are you kidding me? I got to make double the amount of rent. I make $6,000. I can afford this. So that's where people are at now. They're pissed off because they're already paying $3,000, and some people don't make that much. And just imagine how tough they're having it. So people are moving into hotels, and that's not wrong with that because I lived in a hotel when I used to live in shelters back then. You know, I used to live in a hotel. They're not bad, pretty decent. You know, I know how to survive. You know, but this makes me say I'm staying where I'm at because I just already see where things are going, and it's getting really bad. A lot of people are going homeless. And it's ridiculous. Like, how's that even realistic? Like the one person said, what I was listening to earlier, how's that realistic? There's a lot of angry people out there right now. And I'm going to be honest. I know this sounds crazy, but I think all this is being done by design. Some people may feel, and I thought of this earlier, said maybe this is a way where they can force people to want to marry and make two incomes. But guess what? Me and hubby makes two incomes. If we didn't live in this apartment, we'd be struggling right now. You know what I mean? So being married is not the answer to everything because we make good money and yet we're still here. You know, that we left, they would do what they're doing to all these other people, you know, make it tough on everyone. So I'm thankful to just even be here in my apartment and make it home. You know, right now I'm like, I'm going to just renew my lease at this point because I'm seeing what everybody's saying on here and not just on YouTube, all over. You know, my friend, you know, in her situation, they're all saying the same thing. So they haven't moved in the house either. They still live in an apartment with the two kids. And her man is in the military. I mean, he could probably get assistance maybe, but I don't know too much about the military. I don't know what benefits they get, what rank you have to be in. So I don't know all the details on that. But this couch my husband broke is still here. He sat his behind on there. I'm going to just get a new couch and just make myself comfy. That's all. I can't complain because as long as I got a roof over my head and food to eat, I'm just thankful. I just won't have any babies. Oh, man. No babies right now. Mm-mm. Yeah, no. After what everyone's been telling me, nope. They're like, Candace, you're in a good spot right now. Don't do it. That's what everybody keeps telling me. So I'll just do what, I'm going to be smart, I'll wait, I'm going to wait till the very last minute. Seriously. Okay, these are almost done, these yams, and then I'll be ready to eat dinner. But yeah, that's what's happening now. A lot of people are, complaining about it. And, for those out there that are sitting back saying, oh, well, it was tough in our times, it's life. We understand that. That's not what we're saying. We're saying that things are just double the amount than it ever has been. The cost of living. There's older people saying it too. So the ones that are fortunate to have a house and have things, like, you have no room to talk. You know what I mean? You get help, or you have it good because you had your house for years. You got no room to talk. And you cannot doubt the fact that house taxes have raised on people. They may have a house, but the people whose taxes on their properties have raised up so bad. You know what I mean? And it's tough. So, the difference is that the cost of living has gone up, food prices, everything, gas, everything, but the pay rate ain't going up, and it still ain't enough. And it takes two people, and two people ain't enough anymore. It's like you're busting your tail. You know what I mean? So you can't compare 20, 30 years from then to now. You can't. You'd be thinking unrealistically. And it's getting bad. I think that this is all being done by design. And you want to know what I think? I think that they want you to go crazy. I think they want people to get upset. I think they want people to be outraged. And it's for them. I think they want you to be on your knees and begging, because that's how they make you vulnerable and take advantage of you. And that's what I believe. I've never trusted the government. Anybody who trusted the government, I'm sorry, you're naive. You're a fool. I don't trust any government. I don't trust politics. I don't trust any of these people. They don't care about you. They don't care an ounce about your ass. And I really believe that this is all being done by design. Just falling to the devil's game. That's all it is. And leading up to the Antichrist too, because people are going to be under control. They're going to be desperate and want food. You ever see that movie Hunger Games? Watch that movie again. you watch these movies, you start realizing a lot of this stuff starts really happening behind the scenes. Don't think that it ain't going to happen, because look where we're going. It's like it's being done intentionally. They know, here's the thing, they know it's unrealistic to make double the amount of the rent. They know that the stuff they're doing is unrealistic, and they're just going to drive you crazy. That's what they want. And that's the big agenda here, that they want to drive us crazy. They don't care about us. Just like Michael Jackson said, he said they don't care about us. He really meant that in that video. And there's a lot of things about his story too that, people try to call conspiracy, but really isn't. But that's what happens when you talk and you got power and money. They come after you. But yeah, that's what it is. They don't care about you. They're not going to lower the cost of living. That's already been said. And we're in what we're in. They want to make things harder and worse on society and people while they play this game. Like, this is the problem. Let me just say this. They're not going to lower the cost of living, yet they're spending billions of dollars on all this stupid shit. You're talking about AI technology. They're sending out billions of dollars right now to advance AI and to put them in positions, make things a lot worse. Sorry to say this, but if you're going to spend billions of dollars on a ballroom, I think that's really ridiculous. You know what I mean? It's just, you see where we're going. We're going in circles. That's all we're going through right now. It's a whole big game. It's foolishness, and there's no reason to why they could not help out. If you could put billions of dollars to some stupid technology, I don't see why you can't put billions to people to helping, assisting them. It's just stupid, And a lot of people are frustrated, and they're sharing their concerns. And of course, you got some of these people that are doing well in their lives, the very few lucky ones. They got so much to say, and it's like they're sharing their story because they're frustrated, and they're relating to other people and letting them know, no, you're not alone, and no, you're not crazy, and this is what's really going on. Because guess what? All you got left is the news, and the news can lie. You know much propaganda is on news? They can lie and twist up anything. So if I just rely for my source, if I always rely on news sources, I will never get the full story. But when you hear everybody around you saying the same thing, you see people around the world saying the same thing, they're all sharing their videos together, it becomes a threat, because it's like, okay, people will know what's real and what's not real. They can sit here and say, oh, we're doing good, our economy is doing good. Oh, cost of living is okay, everything is fine. But guess what? You can't say that when everybody around the world is saying the same thing. And they know it's a lie. That's why it's good to make those videos, and there was somebody earlier saying like, oh, it's ridiculous, they're sharing this. Well, they should share it. Why not? That's the problem. We're not sharing things enough, and we're not being honest about our situations. And then that's how we just think we're either alone in a situation or we're just not aware of stuff. You know, okay, I'll tell you one thing. I believe all the people and what they're saying and all, because there's people that are making tons of money, 60 grand, they're still going freaking poor and broke. And it's ridiculous. I saw a woman, she was like a 6-year-old Caucasian woman, lived in her car, looked like her hair. I mean, her hair was done. She looked far. She made good mucho dollars. How's she living in a car? You know? And I think it has something to do with her. I don't know if it has something to do with her property taxes. I forgot what it was, but she ends up losing her house and she lived in a car. She stayed in the car since. She's like, I've just been living in a car. I'm just tired. You know? And that's how most people are feeling nowadays. They're like, this is unrealistic. Like, you want people to work their asses off. Where's our home time? Where's our family time? You know, where's the time to even prepare for family or see kids or anything? Just doesn't make sense. And a lot of people where they at now, from what I see, a lot of people just don't care anymore. That's where we're in an I don't care society now. They just don't care anymore. They're like, you know what? Fuck this. You know, there was one guy who was funny, he had me laughing. He's like, you know what? He said, fuck this shit. He was a black guy. He was so funny the way he said it. And he says, I'm just going to move on and live my life. I want to get my skateboard. I mean, I started laughing because the way he said it, you know, he sounded like a little kid. I just want to just go out and I don't care anymore. I don't want to deal with this anymore. I'm done working. I've done this. I feel like I'm just working for nothing. And that's where people are at. And that's what they want. They want to drive you crazy like that. They want to drive everybody crazy. That's all their whole goal is. Drive everyone nuts, just like that. Make them give up. Because that's where people are at now. People are giving up. They're just tired. They don't even want to think about bills no more. They're just like, I don't care if the rent goes. I don't care anymore. You know, oh, well, we'll just live in a car then. You know, one time I used to have dreams, but I'm starting to realize we've been taught a lie. We were taught that if we work hard, we get somewhere, but I'm starting to realize that's a lie too. Well, here's the real truth. Everything in this world is not guaranteed. You know, that's the truth. Like, there's nothing guaranteed. You could sit here and go get college, get a master's degree right now. That's why you got people with master's degrees still looking around for jobs. And you got people who didn't even go to college is making a lot more than they are. So it's all a scam, you know, it really is. And people tell you, well, you know, the problem is this. Oh, you should have gone to college. Oh, the problem is that. No, that's not the problem. The problem is just in life, there's just a lot of misfortunes. We live in the devil's world. And there ain't nothing promised to you here. Heck, you're not even promised to see the day of your retirement because you may not be here. You know? And so here's my yams. I put some extra cinnamon on them. They're nice and tender. You know, nothing's promised. It really isn't. Nothing is ever promised in this life. You know, you want to do the best you can, but you don't want to overwork yourself, and you don't want to really, you know, overstress yourself. Like me, I always think a lot about whether I want to go to school or not. What's going on? I'm like, at this point, I don't know. I mean, if it's in God's will and someone's willing to pay for it at the hospital, now that I work there, you know, maybe, you know, but it depends. I'll tell you one thing. They're going to have to pay for my schooling because I'm not paying for it. Shoot. And knowing what I know, where I'm at as a medical assistant and a phlebotomist, you know, and, you know, a surgical schedule. And that's what my duty will be. You know, at this point, I don't even want to think about that now. I mean, I'm 36, I'll be 37 this year, and getting older. I'm just trying to now get more set now and starting to get more set in my ways, you know? And I just don't want to waste too much time on anything. Yeah, but that's the thing. A lot of people starting to realize that, like, some things it's just out of you. A lot of things are out of your control. You know, you can do everything. You can sit here, go to college, go to school, and get married, do all the right things, and still have a lot of misfortunes. You know, earlier today, that got me back before I leave. It got me back earlier to something that I saw that I didn't like. Um, 'Cause I'm a big observer. I observe a lot of things. And there was a video of a woman, right? She had a nose ring in, and she was a mother, single mother. Now, I don't know that woman's situation, you know? I don't know if she had children before marriage or if she did or not. I don't know. But the first thing I noticed everybody was saying was judging her because she had a nose ring in. And they were saying, oh, yeah, well, that's what happens. That's why you're struggling because you shouldn't have had babies before you got married. And it's like, well, who said that she wasn't married? And even if she did, we're all humans. We do make mistakes. And that doesn't mean we don't have a right to be frustrated or vent or, express how we feel about things. She knows if she did have kids before marriage, I'm sure she knows that. She's not denying that. She's just saying it's tough out there. And you know what? Why is she putting that video up? And the one lady in there, I'm glad she said what she said. She says, I'm glad she put that video up because it's a lesson to be learned for other people. Now that motivates me not to move a certain direction now. Or other people can relate, So my biggest thing was like, how do you even know if she was married or not? And if she got married, how many women get married and the men or something cheats on them or something just goes wrong in the marriage and they still struggling by themselves. They got a deadbeat husband. I'm one of them. I mean, my husband works now, but I'm going to tell you the truth. Before all this, my husband, for those who don't know me, my husband wasn't working for years. I was doing everything. I'm working my ass off. Now, I'm sure people would probably have told me, well, that's the problem, Candace, the reason why he's struggling, because, you maybe need to find a husband and do what's right. And maybe you would speak, I'm married. I'm still struggling. Well, if you have a husband, you wouldn't be struggling because he also want to take care of you. Well, he wasn't taking care of me. And even though he's working, he don't make enough to just take care of me alone, but he does work. And I'm thankful for that. Very thankful for that. He's been working for 3 years now. It's 2022. And that's a blessing from God, But my whole point is that you don't know people's stories. And it's like, and just because everyone does everything right, don't mean that everything's going to fall in place because misfortune happen. And unfortunately, there's a lot of people that get married, have kids, and this shit happens. I know somebody right now that's going through a divorce right now with their husband, and they're all alone. Well, you still chose to get married and you knew what you were getting yourself into. Yeah, I did, but I didn't expect it to be. Sometimes people have unexpected things happen. It happens. And we just, it shouldn't be, well, other mothers are struggling out there too. Nobody said anything about that. No one said that there is another mother struggling out there or that this person is not aware that they made this choice. They did. But, probably made the choice thinking that, hey, we're going to do the best we can to live this out together. Or what happens if her husband dies? She becomes widowed. Or her husband's abusive. Things happen, So we can't, it was just crazy, how quick people were to just say, well, maybe if she had done this right, maybe she would have not been in that position, being sad, crying on there. And then people trying to say she was fake tears. I was like, she don't look like no fake tears to me. But it's just to show you people don't know what they're talking about. They're so quick to sit here and talk about people's situations. It's like, wow, lack of empathy until it's really them. You're in a good situation. And the one person was like, well, I'm married and I did everything right. Well, guess what? You might have did everything right, but I'm sure there'll be a misfortune that'll happen someday where you could sit back and say, you know what? Maybe I need to stop bragging because, you could do everything right. And sometimes it just doesn't fall in place. I did everything right. I got married to my husband, moved in before we got married, made sure that our wedding date was set before I, really moved forward with him. We had traditional wedding and, moved into it together and did everything right, stayed faithful to each other, didn't cheat. And guess what? Shit happens. I still had to work. I still had to bust my ass. I still had to take care of things. I lived on pennies. Okay. So, yeah, I did everything right. I can actually testify and say that, and say, no, I did everything right. And guess what? I still struggled and I still had misfortunes happen to me. But I bet you if I went online and I didn't tell no one I was married and I was sitting here like this with a camera, I'm struggling right now. Because some of this is what they do. Because, why is she on it? Why is she on the camera talking? Maybe this is her outlet. Maybe this is her way of venting because no one understands her. Maybe this is his or her way of journalism. Some people blog. It's like online journal. Everyone's different. So she's like, and maybe she wants people to relate to her because there's other people out there. And she's like, yeah, I've been struggling now for like 5 years. It's getting very tough right now. Man, the rent is high right now, and I just can't do this anymore. I'm taking care of Matt right now, and just as things are hard. Well, see, that's what happens when you're taking care of a random man, the boyfriend that you just let live with you. You just had that man take advantage of you. You just had him living with you, blah, 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 blah. You should have gotten married. You should have this and this and this and this and that. And you should have gone to school and you should have this. And that's why you're like, wait, hold up here. I went to school. Yes, I did. And I was a 4.0 student. Did you know that about me? Yeah, because I really am a 4.0 student. Okay, and so I did a lot of stuff. Okay, and I bust my tail and I stayed up and I took care of kids during the day and ran to school at nighttime and come back home at 11 o'clock and studied 2 o'clock in the morning and ran to do all sorts of things. I literally scrapped pennies. Okay, and the Lord got me through things. But that's a good example. People will make an assumption, not even know who you are, and then start making these stuff up. And I'm just sitting like, wow, you guys are so narrow-minded. Like to just so quickly about somebody's life. And be like, oh, yeah, well, that's your problem. You should have got married to him, but you letting a bum live up in your house and taking him in because, honey, I'm married. I've been married for a long time. I just didn't say that. He did have a job in the beginning. Rent prices were cheap back then. But you don't say that. You just, you're just more like one there, like, I had to turn that thing off. I laughed. And I'm so glad that there are people in there that really said something that you guys are speaking too soon. And they make an embarrassment of themselves when they realize the real truth behind that person. And they're like, oh, shoot, I should not speak so soon, Heck, that reminds me of one time I was cooking, right? And this is funny. I was making barbecue turkey wings. I wanted to try something different. And at the time, my stove was having problems, the oven. So, it took longer for things to cook. So I took a video in between me putting the sauce onto the turkey wings as I was turning them. They were not cooked yet. And I was putting the sauce on. Made my own homemade barbecue sauce. Here you go, the comment section, loading up with 10, I think I have like 8 to 10 comments. People talking about, ew, that don't even look fully cooked. I know the other guy says, I feel bad for those kids, man. She probably beats those kids that they don't eat, and they probably don't even want to eat that turkey wing. So you're like, and I'm sitting there laughing, and like, really? Do you really think that I will pull the chicken out like that and serve it to kids? First of all, I don't have kids, but I didn't say nothing. I just laughed. I don't have kids. I just laughed. Like, really? I mean, it was ridiculous. And they were making assumptions I must beat my kids with belts if they don't eat the chicken wings that I make or whatever like that inside of the oven. And they probably should maybe forces them to eat it when it's uncooked. And then I said, you guys spoke too soon. And I put a link up showing this final video, right? And the final video shows the actual meat cooked and tender and everything. This was going back years ago, like about maybe 3 or 4 years ago. And I was just laughing like, really? You guys look so stupid. Spoke too damn soon. So, hey, be careful. Hey, that's a lesson to be learned. Don't speak too soon. Don't speak too soon on people's situations because you may just make a fool of yourself. But I'm going to get going. I'm going to eat. I got to get to bed after this. I got to have some time with the Lord. And then I got to go to sleep, because I don't want to go past the time, or else. But God bless everybody. Got to go. Take care and bye-bye. Time to eat. Where's my plate at?